so many things, like how to love and how to lose and how to choose.
You know?
Yes.
Because for me, now that I've been inside for like a year and a half, to even go out and sit on my porch is hard.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
So I think we need to talk about that, because I think re-entering the world is going to be a bigger deal for people than we're honoring. It's a big deal to rejoin the world. I just think there's a more emotional complexity there than is being acknowledged. So anyway, I'll shut up so we can get this beautiful video. I'm not leaving it, so I'll shut up.
Kayla, if I start the show, would you end it if Chico sends you a little message?
Can.
Okay. Hey, it's the monkey.
And Chico, do you want to be a part of this dialogue? Okay.
His grunge days are over.
He's real. He's got that sincerity that's I love that. He's real.
Yeah, really, he is.
Yeah, and he cares deeply for people. He's very loyal. He's a good soul. So anyway, okay.
Plus he's funny too, Brian. You may not see that, but he is funny. Oh yeah. On his desk he has all these awards from a band or something. He's got all kinds of band uniforms that he got.
Really? That's cool. That's really cool. Okay.
He is cool.
Last thing, can we talk about our drag names, like what our make-believe drag names would be, like at some point in the show? I won't do it now, but like now I'm going to shut up. You guys are in charge. I'm going to shut up. Sorry.
No, we all are.
It's like being with family. Sorry. Go ahead. We're all so close now, so I'll shut up.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to start, right, Chico? I think you already. Oh, okay. Well, hello, this is Linda Carbonell, and welcome to another edition of Walking Through Life. Today, I'm really excited because we have our other co-host, Kayla Schreiner. Hi, Kayla.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
We have the most wonderful guest, Brian Bowles, who's a friend of mine and Kayla's, and has been a friend of ours for a long time. We have a lot of fun together, and we're going to be talking about that today, and also about how we care for ourselves during the pandemic. So, Kayla, what do you think we should start with? Should we start with Brian, introducing Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we have a full list. We have a full thing to talk about. So we have Brian here. Brian is a good friend of ours. He's been on the show multiple times. He is a medium, a life coach, a psychic, right? I believe. And he's got a couple books. Actually, he has one really good book out. We are currently working on many, many more. Letters to a Young Medium. And today we're going to be talking about trauma with this crazy pandemic that just seems to never end, and how that is affecting everyone, even though, you know, it may not seem like a lot of people are affected by it, but every single person is affected some way or another. So we're going to touch up on that a little bit and touch up on how we ourselves try to self-love and self-care.
That's a big question, Brian. You and I and Kayla were talking before, and we were talking about some of the traumatic things that people are going through this whole pandemic. And I think one of the things that, you know, I didn't realize is how bad it got for me, and, you know, and then how it affected me physically. Yes. And I don't know if it was self-love or if it was more of having a hard time just dealing with day after day after day, just dealing with it in the same place. TV got old. I tried to get Ted to play Yahtzee with me. Nope. So, but I think all three of us have found ways that we can connect and help each other out. And that's what I like, you know. Like, Brian, you've helped me through several things, and so haven't you, Kayla. She showed up to rescue me with my computer. Was it a week ago, Kayla?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, wow. That's great, Kayla. That's great.
Yeah, getting in
Well,
there.
we need each other. I think that's the hidden gift in all of this, for me, has been that I recognize I need people. I have a tendency to be a bit of an introvert and kind of pull into myself. And so I'm definitely not a life coach. I just want to acknowledge that I'm definitely not a life coach.
Well, you could be.
I know,
Yes.
it's very sweet of you guys to give me that. I mean, I love like extra titles, I mean, I'm all about it. But just to be real about that, like nobody would ever pay me for life coaching. I like Marie Kondo. No, that's not me. You should see my sock drawer. It looks like World War III happened. So yeah, no. But on a more playful note, it's really a powerful thing to recognize that we need one another. It's an amazing thing when friendships deepen, when you can be real and you don't have to pretend to be better than you are. And you'll have people that are there for you on the days that were harder than others. Because I, like everybody else, I'm sure, had some hard days where it was hard to see the meaning and purpose of all of this, and to see the way that our country was so deeply divided. It was very painful to see how in the midst of that chaos with the pandemic, that there were all these political winds to kind of pull us apart, with conspiracy theories and other kind of crazy nonsense. But the consequence of that was significant, because it caused me and others to feel really, to feel as if there was like this dividing line. People we love dearly that got into the conspiracy theory stuff. It became difficult to feel that I could reach them, or that I could remind them that they're loved and that they're not alone. And I think the pandemic just created such a vulnerability that it allowed something like the pandemic created such a vulnerability, that it allowed people to feel decentered and feel more vulnerable to a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy, world, basically. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
So can I ask you guys, if that's okay? Can I ask you, Kayla, and then I'll just ask you, Linda. Kayla, what's a memory you have of finding hope during the pandemic? What's a moment you can call upon where you found hope during the pandemic? Because you did something really powerful during that time of writing your book. But I'd love to know for you, what was that moment for you when you found hope?
I think it was actually finishing the book. I know when I did finish the book, for a while, I hit like a little depression stump, but it was that final, like, it was an end. Me writing that book was an end. It was a final. I saw it through. And then it was really hard and personal for me. And that makes me know that, okay, this pandemic is the same way. It's hard. It's, a lot of tears, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of emotions, but it will happen. And, every day I try to remember that. And I try to, keep hope that, it will happen. We just have to ride it out.
Yeah. I love that. How about for you, Linda?
I think it hit me pretty hard right from the start.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I realized is that it wasn't a way for me to continue walking through life at the time. And it bothered me a lot. And I think all of that worry about like you said, the world and the prejudice and the conspiracies and all of that stuff that I was brought up never, ever to believe in, it's just consumed the world. And I hate that. I really do hate that. And so that has eaten me up inside also, that plus not being able to go outside the door. I mean, I think you both know that I suffered from agoraphobia for many years. And this right here, right now, is a lot like that. And it's kind of like I want to open the windows and go outside and sit and watch the butterflies or go down to the park or whatever. And I found that was depressing me because I could not do that at the moment. Yeah. And now it's more like I'm making plans of how I can do that. how it
Beautiful.
can actually come out. And
Yeah,
thanks.
and even so, Linda, I mean, I think the last 2 weeks when I've come up and knocking on your window, okay, come on, come out, at least out to the porch, at least, like one step outside. I'm like, I'll sit with you on the porch. Well, I think I helped her with her project, and then I saw you on Easter too. So I'll say, okay, let's come sit outside, at least that one step, even if it's not far.
That's right.
Because the people closest to you, like, they know, and they understand. And there's not too many people right now that are acknowledging that they have that power to be of service to somebody else during this time of crisis.
But both of you both reached out to me and have made the world a difference in the way that I had been feeling.
Yeah.
But because I trust you both, and it took a lot, but I was able to express what I was going through at the time, and I appreciate all the help that you do help me with. Like Brian, I know you and I spoke quite a bit about my health, and Kayla, and Ted. I felt so guilty that Ted has to do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard to
And
receive, isn't it? Because we can
it's
feel
mine,
inadequate. Yeah.
yeah, it's been hard to just sit down and draw or write, or
Yes.
and hopefully I'll get that back.
Oh, you will. Yeah. And I think that's the hope, right? We have to have hope for all of that. And because I think we're going to come to realize and recognize that we're different people. And I think if we can allow ourselves to be different, to just acknowledge that this past year has had an impact on us in different kinds of ways. I think that's part of the deal, so that we not cling to the past version of ourselves, that we, when loss changes us, loss transforms us. This year, my good friend Jane died from liver cancer, and we lost our dog Lily that we'd had forever. And so I think in the midst of the pandemic, we even had friends of ours that got very sick from coronavirus, and all of them actually did survive. But it was quite a journey, wasn't it? The up and down, and not being sure if you're going to get the virus. I mean, it was like fear nonstop, and that's trauma. And the reason why I want to just mention that is because I remember watching on January 6th, the storming of the Capitol. And when I got past my anger about all of that, I recognized, when I looked at those faces of those people that were storming the Capitol, I saw the trauma. I saw the frenzy. I saw the mind, the chaos of the mind. And I saw how political forces were directing that trauma in a way that served them. And it's just an interesting thing to notice that when we're in a state of fear, we're more vulnerable to the influences of other people. We can be influenced to do horrifically cruel, unkind things to one another. So I think part of how I'm recognizing for me to heal, because when I saw Camp Auschwitz sweatshirts and things of that nature as a Jewish person, and as a gay person, that's just unacceptable to me. But beyond that, when I become curious, I start to recognize that those people are in a profound amount of pain. And our judgment may make us feel good, but it's not going to make our country better. It's not. I'm just a big believer that we have to find a way to have compassion. And I actually think that's part of how we are supporting our sisters and brothers of color, because we are, as a white person who's become awake to his own inner racism, because I've had to become well aware of my own inner racism. Because of that, I feel like I have a responsibility with my sisters or brothers in the white community that are struggling with this piece, to challenge them and to give them another way to look at these kinds of issues, but also do that through a door of love and respect. Because if we are always arguing, we're never really growing. And I think because we've been so separate, these arguments have become so polarizing because we don't see one another. It's the way we drive in our cars. And I'm sorry to do too much of a soapbox, so I apologize. I feel like I'm yammering on and on, but I just wanted to kind of initiate a conversation about that, because when I started to recognize those people were hurting, I stopped making it about me. I could see that there's hurt there. I feel like that we can do something with that. So what do you guys think? So my little yammering, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I myself think that there should be open communication and in a peaceful way, in a peaceful way. And once we do realize that we have caused a lot of this throughout the world, the hate and all of that. And the only way that we can actually bring it back to love and self-love and everything else is to see ourselves as, the same. One is one, one is one person. And it's just, that's the way that I've always felt, is that we're unique in our own way and our own beliefs and our own what we want to do with life and so on and so forth. But to separate people with stigma and bias and racism, it's just, it's hate. It's hate, and I hate to hate. And I really do hate seeing all the bad things that are happening to people. And it bothers me so much. And I wish there was something that I could, do and make a difference.
Well, I think, Linda, with you doing this show, it absolutely does. Even if it's just a quarter of the world that sees it, First of all, we're going to make a shirt that says, I hate to hate, right? Isn't that what you just said?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's got to happen. I would buy that shirt.
That's going to be a shirt. That's going to be a shirt. And it's true. You keep hearing on repeat, the world, the country is divided. The country is divided.
Yeah.
It always has been. It always has been, but now it's at the max.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? Where's the boundary? Where's the line? I'm not one to be like, our fellow community with big neon signs that say love is love. But what I know I can do is control my love and love you, love the neighbor, love the stranger, without, hold space for them, without, because even if I do that, that still is a change, whether if it's one person a day, two people, myself, that's all I can control. I can't control the White House, the Capitol, France, I can't. And that's not in my power. That's not my authority. But if I can see you down the street, wave, hi, how's it going? I could have just probably saved you in that 10 minutes. And that's all I can do. And that's what I hope everyone else can follow and do as well.
Yeah.
It's beautiful that it starts with our corner of our world, Linda, it's interesting to hear you say you don't know what to do. I couldn't agree with Kayla more, because you have created a show that is all about love. You don't invite people on here to further hate, ever.
No.
Every show you do is about acknowledging the value of the other person. I mean, there can't be something more important than that message, in my opinion. And because I think part of how we overcome racism in our country and how we begin to grow through that is that we tell the truth about it. And we don't constantly ask our sisters and brothers of color to share that piece of our history, to remind us who we are, to remind us of who we are as a country. We become wise about those things. We know those stories. We know the ways in which generationally people of color have been hurt. We care enough to have those stories on our heart. They become our stories. Crossing the bridge out of Selma for people to have the right to vote, and some people being murdered just for crossing that bridge to have the right to vote, that becomes an American story. That becomes part of what we all deeply care about, because we would never, ever want to be a country that didn't care about every single person crossing that bridge.
That's right.
So I think that's what the pandemic has offered us, that we have a chance to do this differently. We have a chance to demonstrate, just like Kayla said, we have a chance to demonstrate with our actions our sincere concern and love for our neighbors. Words are easy, right? But the actions matter. I love that. That's such an empowering, I just think that's so beautiful,
Yeah.
And my only gripe about the pandemic is I'm all for change. Just give me a little bit. Just just a little bit. Don't shut the whole world down. Have this, like, just give me baby steps, you know, and that's what's been really hard the most is it's, you know, you just can't give me, you're throwing me the whole course meal. And I think that's been a shell shock for a lot of people. That's why we're all struggling with depression and anxiety and fear of what's real and what's not and what to do and what not to do, instead of just worrying about you. Like,
Yes.
Don't worry about what Billy Joe is doing. Like, do you? And that's what scares people. And, you know, and that's when the anger comes in and the hate, because there's no understanding of just take care of you, be safe, do you, I'll do me and I'll be safe and we'll be okay. And I think that's so hard for a lot of people because they're just so focused on like the one train of moving forward instead of, you know, helping each other in a community.
Right. And not only that, but I don't think we know how we're helping somebody else because they're the ones, you know, but I always feel it. I feel like, you know, not necessarily that I'm helping, but I'm having a communication with somebody that, you know, has a story to tell, that wants to tell their story, that wants to know that somebody cares and somebody wants to listen.
I love that.
And that's always been, and Brian, I was going to tell you when this whole started and you started the karaoke.
Yeah.
The quarantine karaoke on your Facebook there. And you sang that song with Kermit the Frog. You know, I listened to that and I cried.
Aw.
You know, I just want to add real quick that, you know, see, I'm catching myself doing it. I need to stop saying, you know, it's a New England thing. It's a tick. Linda and Brian, you guys have such important roles that I don't know if you know that you have them. Linda, your role is to spread awareness and listen to the people, help them, guide them. Brian, I'm sure the other world, the mediumship world, has been a lot more noisier now during this pandemic, where you need to send messages to the loved ones who are grieving the most right now during this time of crisis. And I don't know if you guys actually know how important those roles are to people, to be able to have that, you know, I don't want to say a messenger, but you're a messenger, you know, and I think that's really great.
Thanks so much, Kayla. But just to capitalize on that with you, I mean, because that's part of the beauty of it, is that, you know, that's why we're all connected to one another. You know, Kayla, the kind of mother you are and the way that you love your kids. And when your son was sent home for having exposure to COVID, and the grace with which you handled that, you didn't go to anger. You know, you were frustrated, but it was just a really funny story, actually, the way you told it. But you take moments that could be very volatile and you make them funny. And so you teach me a great deal about how to not take everything so personally and how to understand that our behavior impacts other people. You always respect the teachers that are involved with your kids' lives. They're never the bad guys with you.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a big deal, Kayla. Think about it. You know, I was a special ed teacher, as you know, that was my first career. So I think we're all doing, you know, we're going to fail at this every day, because I do. But we're all doing the very best we can, aren't we, to try to be the grace we want to receive us. And that,
yeah, you know, I think taking care of ourselves is that's part of it for me anyway, is to be connected to people and to be able to listen to their stories. And I just love doing it. I know how nice it was for me the first time that I told my story at CATV, and how that affected me by people's reaction to it. And it made a difference in my world, you know. Okay, so I can go out and be a TV host, and I can spread the advocating message or the message of hope or whatever. Yes. And I love doing that. And Kayla, I know you do too. That's why I picked you to be my co-host. is because that's the quality of a co-host that I want.
Yes.
Somebody that is making a difference in the world, and you are so making a difference.
Oh, well, I thank you.
And I could
How long
honestly
has it
say,
been?
Kayla,
How long has it been since you told your story, Linda?
well, many years now.
Could
The
we
whole
could,
story.
could you consider doing a show where you tell your story and then maybe a show where Kayla tells her story?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I
Well,
actually
like-
think that matters. It changes how people engage with you around the dialogues you're having, because they're going to see the incredible resilience that both of you guys have had to bring to your life. I mean,
Do you want to
that's
interview
very
us?
inspiring. I would love to.
Really?
I know I would. I would do it. You can bet. I think we should do it the same
I
day.
think
We
that
should
would
do
be
two
great.
shows in one day, and we could just make them separate shows, but we should record both in the same day, because it would be valuable to have Kayla and I interview you and have you and I interview Kayla, and just make sure
Yeah.
we keep the focus on her and make sure we keep the focus on you, because, you know, I'm a big believer that that's the most important thing we have here is our story. You know, we don't take our stuff with us. We don't take our crap or our money or status or resume or any of that other stuff. But I've always really believed in my heart that we take our story, because our story captures what we've learned. Our story captures what our life has been about. And it's messy at times, isn't it? It's not all lovely and light, and because it's nonsense, you know. Sometimes we're messy, and it's part of the fun, actually. It's part of the, you know, where you get the humor in your story. So I would love it. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, we should do that for sure. Are you up for that, Kayla?
I'm down. Yeah.
Well, let's
Well,
do that
you
next
let-
time. Like
Huh?
soon, maybe. Let's do it soon.
Yeah, like next week.
Yeah, next week.
I'm not going to be available next week. I'm taking a vacation.
Where are you
gonna what?
going?
I'm actually going down the road from Linda's.
Oh. Well, you can always stop by.
Taking a vacation.
No, you enjoy your vacation. I'm just teasing you, but we could do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Fair
we can
enough.
do it for 2 weeks. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If that's okay with Chico, we'll check with Chico, but I think it probably would be. But Brian, before we go, because I know we're getting to that point, I
Yeah.
want to make sure. Can we please give the audience information on you on Facebook?
Of course, yes.
So,
You bet.
so how they can find you?
Yeah, they can look me up on Facebook under Brian Bowles, just under my name. And I think it says Denver is my hometown, because, you know, it is, of course, but people can do it that way. And I share my writing there. I share when I'm going to be doing a mediumship event and that kind of stuff there. And I do have a website called halfwaythroughthewoods.com. But my big thing is that because this is airing in the New England area, and I'm just a big fan of people reaching out to mediums in their own area, because there's nothing special about what I do. I just do my mediumship, I do my work, but there's other really brilliant mediums in your area. So that would just be the thing, that people, support their local mediums and reach out to them and get their needs met. But I'm a big fan of getting a recommendation from friends that have worked with a medium. I'm a big fan of making sure that the medium you're working with works from evidence, is reliable in their work, and that there's no manipulation there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
sure.
thanks so much. I
Hey.
appreciate it.
Sorry about that. Ted's getting the phone. Hey, I told you. Oh, before we go though, we have to find our drag queen name.
Yes, our drag queen name. Maybe we should do this next time. Let's keep the audiences waiting, and when we have
All
our
right.
next interview, we'll do that, because
Maybe they can think about. Maybe
Give
they
us
can
a
think
step.
about names for us.
yes, but that'd be really funny,
Put
actually.
it under the
Comment below.
You
That'd be
find
really
out.
fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
I'm all about it.
Yeah, suggest what we should wear for a costume or something like that. Who knows?
We should do that. That would be so fun.
Oh, wouldn't
We could
that
have
be
Linda's
fun? We
drag
should do
race.
this.
Linda's
Yeah,
drag
like
race.
I said, we've got the three of us. We've also got a fourth person, which is Holly Brooks, who just hasn't made it here yet, but she will.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to thank you, Brian and Kayla. I love this show. I can't wait to do the next one. And I love both of you. I really do. Just want you to know that.
Absolutely. And thank you as well, Linda. And thanks, Brian, for fitting us in on your schedule. And I just want to let people know that make good decisions, stay safe, and keep being positive.
Yeah.
And look for the hurt rather than overreacting to the behavior. Because when people have been traumatized, we're all hypersensitive in a way that we never have been. So this is a really good time to practice not overreacting to people's behavior and try to see the hurt behind it. Because otherwise we'll continue to have all this conflict to be upset with each other. We can soften those edges. So
Yeah.
Thanks
We
again.
can. We're gonna have fun
Love
doing
both
it.
of you very much. Love you, Linda. Love you, Kayla. Thanks for inviting me. And thank you, Chico,
Yes.
for taking care of us. So
Yes, Chico. All right. Are we saying goodbye for now? Bye-bye. See you in 2 weeks, Brian.
Walking through this life of mine, well, it's teaching me so many things, like how to love and how to lose and how to choose. Walking through this life, some days I get so tired and I feel that I can't